Hi guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome if you're new. I hope you're all doing well and welcome back to another video. It is like officially spring now, which makes me so excited. I love a new season, a new quarter of the year, a new month. I just feel so much more positive and motivated and kind of like ready to kickstart the new season. And I wanted to share some books that would kind of emulate that same vibe, whether that's like characters, having a fresh start, some non-fiction motivational books. I have a few here that I would like to kind of shout out and show you guys that kind of radiate spring for me in terms of like fresh start, newness and motivation. So I have 4 to share with you today, so without further ado, let's hop into it. The first book I want to talk about is one of my favourite contemporary books that I kind of don't talk enough about on my channel. This book was written by a fellow bookstagrammer, one of my close friends here on this community, Emily Merrill. She wrote the Heartbreak House share and it came out summer last year, and I was dying to read it when she kind of explained the book and publicised it. Flick, who's in her early 20s, who's just broken up with her long-term boyfriend, and she heads over to London for a new job and a fresh start. So she finds a room in a house share and she kind of creates new friends and creates a 20s bucket list of things that she would like to accomplish now that she is single. And it's just a really good kind of like fresh start book. You're following Flick as she starts this new journey of her life, and it is just really inspiring to see her kind of like finally come into herself and create some really strong female bonds. So I think this one perfectly emulates spring and is a definite must read for spring. There's flowers on the cover, it's a pretty teal blue colour, and it shouts spring for me. So if you haven't read this book or haven't heard of it, I would highly recommend checking it out and giving it a go if it sounds interesting to you. I really enjoyed this book and I gave it 5 stars. A little bit of a change of pace. The next book I'm going to talk to you and I feel like really kind of gets us ready for spring is Black Buck by Matteo Ascaropour. This is a kind of markets itself as a self-help fiction book, and that's because you're following our main character Buck, who is a coffee barista at the bottom of a tower block, and he narrates it himself as that fictional character, but it's like the author is talking to you through the book. It's like he's writing the book to the people, but he's the main character, yet he's kind of talking to the reader. It's a very complex, interesting, unique storytelling perspective, and you follow him as he starts as a coffee barista at the bottom of the tower block and he works his way up to the top of the tower block and begins his journey at a startup tech company where he is the only black employee. It does follow racism in the workplace. However, the reason I feel like this book is very much spring is because of the self-help fiction kind of take on this book. It's because it does shout out a lot of helpful motivational tips for your life in this book, and I found kind of really spoke to me in things that I wanted to kind of empower or take on. And with a lot of reflection and lessons to learn in this book, I think it may be the perfect book to pick up as we head into a new season for some inspiration and motivation. Now let's head into a actual fiction book, and that is Philosophy by Elizabeth Day. This is her short kind of snippet book that is the companion book to How to Fail by Elizabeth Day. She is a journalist that explores the idea that your failures turn into your biggest life successes, and this book this book specifically focuses on little snippets of interviews that she's had with different kind of monumental figures in the public eye and what their failures are and how they've turned those into successes. There are trigger warnings in this book, so be careful, such as miscarriages, suicide, depression, and kind of all those sorts of heavy topics. So if you're interested in reading this book, please check out trigger warnings before going into it. There are some great quotes and motivational tips in this book on kind of how to reflect on what you failed at in life and turn that into a success. And as you can see, I've tabbed up a lot in this book because I really do feel like it has a lot of things to learn and lessons to learn in this book. For example, one of the quotes in this book from a person she's interviewed says, "The fact of worrying about whether it's all going wrong is pointless. What it should be about is just thinking, well, all I can do is the best I can do in a way I think is the best way, and we'll see what happens at the end. Failure is a part of the process of getting where you need to be." Like, there's just little like snippets, and that's in like a little frame. There's just snippets in this book that are kind of like really motivational, and I just think it's a great kind of like pick-up book that you can kind of like just flick to when you're needing a little bit of motivation coming into the new season. And plus, it's like a diddy little book that's like a hardback and pretty in pink. And yeah, if this is a normal paperback, Look how diddy it is. It's so cute. Yeah, definitely a really cute spring addition to your bookshelves. And if you're just like, I'm already done with spring and we're not even into it yet, and you want some summery vibes and you're just kind of ready to emulate summer instead of spring, I have the perfect middle grade for you. This book just shouts joy and happiness right off the pages, and that is The Secret Sunshine Project by Benjamin Dean. We follow our main character Bee and her family as they move to the countryside during the summer because a dark cloud is following their family after a difficult year for them. Their last happy memories of family was last year at Pride, and for some reason, ever since, Bee's sister hasn't been the same. So she takes on the mission during the summer, moving to the countryside. She takes on this mission to bring the joy back to her sister's life and bring pride to the countryside town that they've moved to. And it just, the colours shout out from the page. It's so joyous, it's so happy, it's just perfect for like a feel-good book this spring. And I kind of want to give it a reread because it did just give me so much joy when reading this book. It's beautifully written and I guarantee it will have you smiling from ear to ear. So, although only 4 books, I tried to cover like different sort of like spring moods you may be in, whether that's you're looking for some motivation. I recommend picking up Philosophy by Elizabeth Day if you can handle the trigger warnings. If you're looking for a character to relate to or just kind of feel seen in, Flick is your girl, and she will give you the best fresh start you could possibly do with female empowerment threaded throughout the story. If you're looking for some self-help but yet a also really poignant story with some motivation and kind of like lessons to think about and to reflect upon, Black Buck is the way to go. And if you're just looking for some major spring vibes that emulate happiness and joy, it's The Secret Sunshine Project by Benjamin Dean. Although a really short video, I really hope you found some new books that you may want to check out. I highly recommend all of these. All these books have been a 4.5 to 5-star read. Philosophy and the Heartbreak House share were both 5 stars, and then Black Buck and The Secret Sunshine Project were both 4.5 stars. So books I highly recommend any time of year, but I do think really do kind of give you the spring vibes if you're looking for some new books to read this spring. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you give it a massive thumbs up and subscribe down below to see more content from me. I want to start doing some more recommendation book videos, so if you have any genres or categories or vibes or moods that you want to have books recommended off of, then let me know in the comments down below. And without further ado, I'll see you in my next video. Bye guys.